Supriya Sharma. She's the registrar of Chartered Institute of Leadership and Governance. She's joining us and she's going to give a brief before we start. Welcome, Dr. Supriya Sharma.
Thank you, Dr. Shegun, and my heartiest greetings to each and every person present here today. A very warm welcome to this session on CILG. I extend my warmest welcome here to all the fellow members who are joining us from various parts of the country as well as various parts of the world. Plus, I would also like to welcome our special guests, our speakers for the day, Dr. Ahmed Saleh, Mr. Abubakar Sambo Baza, and Mr. Michael Oluseyi Ashade. We really appreciate you all taking your time to be present with us here. Well, one question to everyone present here today. How old would you think if you were not aware of what exactly was your age? Let me repeat that. How old would you think you were if you didn't have an idea of your exact age? Well, that's not me asking that question, but it's a question by Michael Page. And this is a very great question, according to me, because it reminds us on how much we can discover about ourselves if we imagine ignorance. Because as the quickest of the experts say, one of the best ways of learning is to unlearn first. And this brings us to the topic that we are facing. It is the topic that has the highest likelihood of being of greatest importance, of being fair to all of us. If not all of us, at least the majority of us. That is under our control. I invite you all to put yourself in the original position and discover what you see. This is what we know as the roles test, because it's practical, it's normal for all of us as human beings to have some kind of self-interest involved everywhere, whether it's the professional life or the personal life. So it's okay, every human being has some kind of self-interest clouded in their mind. But also a part of being human, and specifically the part of being a leader, who we all are here today, it is our ability to rise a bit above everything else and get a view that helps us to see beyond, that helps us to see through the eyes of transformation, not just transformation, but something that is powerful transformation. And therefore, I urge you all today to enjoy voting as your civic duty and a right, of course. And specifically, if any of the women members who are here today, let me make a special significance on how important voting has been for us. You know, way back in the 1800s, when countries started gaining independence, that was the time when men, I'm referring to the Western countries, that was the time when men got their voting rights as early as 1870. Whereas for women to get their voting rights, it took another 100 years, almost 100 years. I'm talking about the Western world, which we claim to be the fast growing. So this is how important voting has been for us. And I'm specifically addressing to all the women present here, because it took us 100 more years to get our rights of voting. So let us not miss out any of the chances that we have to vote and choose the best leader for all of us. Again, with regards to today's topic, I really appreciate all of your presence here, and I invite to invoke the leader within you to choose the best leader for our nation, so it can be the best in the world. Thank you, welcome, and let's have a fruitful deliberation.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you, Dr. Supriya Sharma. We feel honored to have the registrar of the Chartered Institute of Leadership and Governance on our platform this morning. We need to confirm where she's speaking from. Dr. Supriya, where are you speaking from this morning?
So I'm joining you from Croatia today, in the Europe.
It's a pleasure to have you out of your busy schedule. She has advised us this morning, especially the women. Yes, make the right choice. And that's what we're about to look at today with our eminent qualified guest speaker from 3 major political parties from Nigeria. We have a guest speaker from APC, PDP, and Labour Party. And in a few minutes, we are going to give the opportunity to speak. So thank you to our able registrar. Permit me to introduce our guest for today. before I hand over officially to the moderator, who will be moderating today's section. Don't forget, I advise you early to get your PVC. Your PVC is your power, and it will enable you to make the right decision. We have on this platform, Dr. Ahmad Saleh, born from the family of late Amadou Ali Tepsu, Mba village in Mambila Plateau, Sardauna local government, Taraba State. He is over 50 years of age, a graduate of social science with major in sociology, master in public relations, doctorate degree in philosophy and philanthropic management. He's a political juggernaut, a business consultant, humanitarian par excellence. Presently, is the chairman of SACOM Synergy Limited. He's the national president of APC National Coalition for Peace and Mobilization, NACOPIAM, nationwide. He's a chieftain traditional title holder in various communities, Zaina of Mambila, Dana Dalan, Ganzaka, Oboli of Lifaya 1 of Lantankpakum, Ijim Kingdom. Dr. Saleh is a member of Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, NIPR, is a fellow member of this, our great institute, is a patron citizen of Federal Republic of Nigeria. He is an APC member. He will be talking to us this morning. He will be answering our questions. He will be convincing us on the best option in terms of 2023 general election on this platform. We also have Mr. Michael on the platform, graduated from Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Osun State, study accounting, BA in human resource from Ladoke Akintola University, over 17 years experience as a banker. He has worked in UBA, STB, Broadbank, Oceanic Bank, and many others. He's a deputy governorship aspirant of Labour Party in Ogun State 2019. He's currently the state chairman of Labour Party in Ogun State. He's a pastor in the Redeemed Christian Church of God. He is from Labour Party, and he will be talking to us this morning, dissecting the topic of the day on the best option for Nigeria. We also have on the platform today Mr. Abubakar Sambo Baza, born in Sokoto North local government. He's a graduate of BSc Nursing Science, holder of Master Degree in Public Health, a practicing nurse and entrepreneur, human rights crusader. Presently is the Secretary General of PDP Fans Club in Sokoto State. Is the chairman of Sokoto Forum Vanguard, the former SRC president at the Garden City University College, Kumasi. Dr. Sambo is a PDP man, and he will also be dissecting the topic this morning. This is a symposium, so we'll be doing more of asking them questions. Wide, of course, we have our moderator, Felix Benga Adetuobu. He's an award-winning motivational speaker. He's an author who has addressed leadership at various aspects of human and political social development. He's a graduate of law from Joseph Ayo Babalola University, where he served as a student union president alumna. He's a member, Chartered Institute of, is an associate member of the Chartered Institute of Leadership and Governance. He's a member of the International Third World Leader in Bahama, founder of President Gets Ahead International. And he is also a public affairs analyst. He's a guest on various TV and radio stations in Nigeria, especially in Abuja. He has authored a lot of books on political development in this country. He will be our moderator this morning, and he will also be sharing with us along the line. If you're on the platform, you are aiming to join CLG this year, the next induction is at hand. As you can see, we are preparing for the 8th induction of CRLG. Kindly take the advantage, send your CV profile to info@crlgnigeria.org or WhatsApp or call us on the number you see on the screen, and we'll add you up to the next induction coming up, which we have started preparing for already. So I welcome you to this section. Let me hand over to our moderator, Mr. Benga. Over to you, sir. So let me take his position while he still sorts himself out. I will be giving opportunity to the man from Labour Party, Mr. Michael Ashade, this morning.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shegun. I want to look at the topic, the best option, and as regards 2023, after the of our foray into democracy by the military, wherein we've had the PDP who started ruling and ruled for quite a long while, taken over by the APC. I wouldn't say that Nigerians have had the best of governance. We have not had the best of governance. We have not had the best of the true dividends of democracy that rightly belongs to us. If these two parties have had their shots, they have had their try at leadership, governance of this nation, and the best they can offer is what we are getting, I don't think there is need for continuity of any one of them. It's better we try another option. And the credible, viable, dependable, alternative option available as of today is the Labour Party. I am presenting to Nigerians, presenting to everyone on this platform, the option, the best option we can have in Nigeria today, the Labour Party. Do we talk about the flag bearers of each of the parties? There's no one of them that is a match to our candidate. It is glaring in terms of performance, in terms of character, in terms of integrity. The record speaks for him. There is no going back. I don't think Nigerians want to throw away this option we are having. I want to see it as a God-given option. Yes, they say, where was Labour Party in all this while? PDP has had its shots. APC has had its shots. Let Labour Party have its shots. Nigerians will give you the best option that we can have. I present to Nigerians the option of Labour Party, worthy of trial, worthy of taking over. You can you can take the risk, take the chances, and you will never be disappointed. Thank you for now.
All right. Thank you for that brief. The man from Labour Party, Mr. Michael, the Labour Party chairman of Ogun State, just told us to take the risk of giving Labour Party an opportunity. According to him, he said we've texted APC and PDP that it will be nice. I'm just going to give another few minutes to PDP and APC to give us just overview of the topic before we digress to other things. Dr. Saleh from APC, can you give us overview of this topic?
First of all, I must first and foremost start by commending the leadership of the CILG Nigerian chapter for organizing this wonderful, platform for Nigerians to know the best option for their country as regards to 2023 general elections, of which presidential candidate or party should saddle with the responsibility of the stewardship of the country. First of all, let me say, without any mix of words, that the word of Professor Ino Ukaije said, and I quote, that for Africa to move forward will refer to backward, where we're coming from. And to say this, for us to emerge, coming to issue of discussing about the best option, we must know where we are coming from the 16 days, from 16 years of misrule of the People's Democratic Party, where APC, under the infinite mercy of the merger groups that come together to wrestle power from the days of the PDP. And of course, we should know that Nigeria have passed through a difficult time more than this. We inherited a lot of issues at hand. So destruction is easy, but building is very, very difficult. As we say, we believe and we hope that with the situation we are facing, we are trying to heal the wound of the past. And with the current emergence of Jagaban, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a presidential candidate, is coming with a lot of experience, with a lot of, the leadership IQ to build on the President Muhammadu Buhari already laid down administration in order to find Nigeria among the best committee of nations. So in this note, I wish to say that APC under the Jagaban presidency is going to be the best option for Nigerians, considering his antecedents considering its record in the past. We have seen Lagos State where Lagos was, and when Jagaban came in as a governor in Lagos State, we have seen what he have done. We have seen the capacity, leadership, IQ, the mentorship he have developed and put it in Lagos State, and today we can see what Lagos is today. It's one of the highest, states, fastest developing states in Africa. With this alone, gives APC the victory, give APC the better way to the 2023 option for Nigerians.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Sally. Dr. Sally quoted Ukaeji that for Africans to move forward, we must know where we are coming from. Then he referenced PDP of 16 years, according to him. Maybe that is where we are coming from, or we are coming from APC 7 years ago. We'll get to know very soon. Thank you for that overview. And he's encouraging us to vote Jagaban according to his words. We will get to know very soon. Thank you for that brief. Let's go to PDP. Mr. Abubakar Sambo, please unmute yourself and give us your overview.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, Dr. Diogun. You see, I remember the late Saj, Professor Chino Achebe. Professor Chino Achebe once said the problem of Nigeria is largely and squarely that of leadership. And he equally went on to say that things fall apart in Nigeria because the center cannot hold. And that is exactly what is happening in Nigeria. We have a lot of good people out there, people with capability, people with competence, people with credibility that will be able to deliver Nigeria from the problem it is bedeviled with now. It is no brainer, for any Nigerian now to know that there has never been a time that Nigeria is faced with leadership challenges than now, like from our Fourth Republic, to now, you can see we are faced with myriads of insecurity, issue of corruption, issue of economy is in tatters. And, we in Northern Nigeria, for example, our farmers are not able to go to the farm. And even for you now to travel by roads, from Sokoto to Kaduna, from Abuja, is a problem. And I think it is all the result of leadership failure. And, I'm not trying to say that just because I'm from PDP side, I'm trying to attribute all the blame, to APC-led administration. But it's obvious that actually, APC as a party, has failed actually, in its bid to deliver the dividends of democracy to Nigerians. You can see even the issue of economic policies is something that has to do with trial and error. You just come and close the border. You also give instruction that border should be opened only for you to say that you don't even know the advantage of closing the border and what have you. And this, our security, agencies also, and our security chiefs, have felt right to deliver the mandate given to them, because the primary responsibility of any government is the security of our citizens. These people have felt, to protect Nigerians, and unfortunately, there is no issue of sack. Look at what happened at Kuje jailbreak, for example. The Mr. President only said he is disappointed, he is ashamed of what is happening, yet there is no any result. You can see a lot of graft activities happening in the country. Look at issue of ASU, for example. It has been a ding-dang affair. Everything is in this area. The formerly recently sacked Accountant General of the Federation, has been always a clog in the wheel of progress of resolving, this issue, ASU, federal government, imbroglio, only for him to be faced with 80 billion naira corruption charges, while he was being investigated by EFCC, another 90 billion naira also was uncovered. You know, so if you look at it carefully, honestly, Dr. Shogun, there is no better time than that we need a credible personality than now. And that is why we feel, honestly, as at PDP level, you know, we need to give Atiku Abubakar the chance to come and deliver this country from the miasma of insecurity, miasma of corruption, from the miasma of wanting impunity that you can see left, right, and center, and yet nobody is doing anything about it. And it is obvious, honestly, Atiku Abubakar, when he became the vice president of Nigeria, a lot of, you know, strategic decisions, he was able to bring them on board during Obasanjo's administration. And he is a Democrat, honestly. He has always been championing the cause of politics without bitterness. He is a Democrat. There was a time, if you could recollect, when about 30 Nigerian governors were under him, where they wanted him to come on board and contest for the president in 2003. He said no. And he has been trying. And even the last presidential election in 2019, he won his ticket. This primary election of 2022 and our trajectory to 2023, he has also won his ticket. And he is reaching out to people. He is engaging a lot of consultations. Okay, so honestly, I present to Nigerians, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar from PDP, and I see him the only credible, competent, and upright personality that can deliver this country.
Thank you very much for that overview of the topic, Mr. Sambo from People Democratic Party. You have talked much on insecurity. You've talked much on APC doing trial and error, ASU strike, insecurity issue in Jailbreak in Kuje, and many others. Thank you for your overview. Let me check if Mr. Felix can speak now before I will continue. Mr. Felix.
All right. Thank you very much. The first person I'll be setting my question straight to is the Labour Party chairman in Ogun State. And that's in person of Mr. Michael Oluseyi. The issue of political structure has been an issue, especially with your party. And I would like to ask, going by the Oshu election and the structures, so if I'm to ask, in a democratic system, what, in your opinion, do you think, is the political structure?
If I heard you clearly, I think you are talking about structure, and that's the confusion the PDP and the APC wants to sell to Nigerians. I don't know what they mean by structure, but if we all could understand what is structure, there is no party, or let me put it among the three, that does not have structure. If they are saying Labour Party does not have a structure, it usually connotes that PDP does not have a structure. I am the party chairman for Ogun State, and like what our candidates always say, go and verify. You can come to Ogun State, for example, come and verify. From the state level to the local level, to the world level, we have structures in place. How can you say a party that is in partnership with NLC, TUC, the FIWON, Federation of Informal Workers, having a lot of workforce on its side, and you say there is no structure? Are the people not there? Are we talking of vehicles, or are we, what the structure is the people? At any level, Labour Party has structure, much more than enough. And we are going to harness that to our advantage. You see, I want to let Nigerians know, and my other two co-speakers, I want to believe, if they are going to be sincere and bear their mind, the day CILG brought out this program with the inclusion of Labour, I think they will have had sleepless night that night. Because if it's just between PDP and APC, this symposium, it will just be a question of trading blames. You can hear their opening remarks. They are just trading blames among themselves. How can PDP be blaming APC for the woes we are in Nigeria presently? We started from them. How can APC equally be at this stage still be trading blames after being there for 8 years or close to 8 years, and yet no solution? There's virtually no item of governance that has had improvement under their governance. And they still want Nigerians to continue, to give them another shot, to give them another chance. I think we don't want to continue the doom that's befalling us in Nigeria by allowing any one of them to continue. Nigerians to see this opportunity and change. The structure is there. And even if they are saying, like people have equally said, that even if you say there's no structure, we are going to vote with a structureless party, in quote. We have structure. And I can assure you, come to any state, the structures are there for verification.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Shade. And although in the last election in Osun, you only had a little above 2,000 votes.
If you want me to give a response to that, Labour Party is not into vote buying. And that's another bane the INEC must see to read that it gets it corrected. Vote buying. It is there. PDP, APC, they are engaged in vote buying. You see, people must come to a point and see to read that we are tired of their governance. If they know they can win without vote buying, let them come to the table clean. Let them come to the table clean. We are ready for them, and this time around, we are taking over. Yes, we lost the election in Osun, but that's not a determinant for 2023. That's not a determinant.
Now, with your victory on Saturday, would you say it was due to the fact that you had a very good political structure? And would that have counted for your winning in 2023 general election?
Yes, of course, generally, you don't need any rocket science for you to decipher that, honestly. We are questioned to victory by the special grace of God come 2023. All we need to do now is to leverage on the gains and successes we have recorded in the Osun gubernatorial election. You can hear even the party chairman of APC, he made it loud and clear that actually the victory, PDP recorded in Osun gubernatorial election has really unsettled them. You understand? And it is that winning of the election that made about right now, there is, a move underground movement by about 192 senators and reps trying to defect the ruling party because it is just a tissue, of failure, in their bid to deliver Nigeria, that they are trying to defect to other political parties, PDP, LP. Now, I want to also hammer a bit on the LP man. The Labour Party actually is even out of the equation. You can see from the Osun gubernatorial election. The parties that featured very prominently in the election are PDP and APC. So the presidential election actually is going to be largely on between APC and PDP. The issue of structure, there is just no way the issue of structure can be downplayed in any issue of democratic process, so to speak, actually. This is a party, Labour Party, that doesn't have a governor, it doesn't have a senator, it doesn't have, a lot of things are lacking, actually. And coming to their presidential aspirant or candidate, Peter Obi, is a political disciple of Atiku Abubakar. You understand? Atiku Abubakar is his boss. And even Ashwaju, they are talking about when Atiku Abubakar was vice president, he was governor of Lagos State. You understand? And he has a political machinery, well-oiled political machinery of such, Shehu Musa Yar'Adua. He has been into scheme of things. Okay, he's a Democrat, he is liberal, and he is nationalist also. When you place the three aspirants, Atiku Abubakar, Ashwaju, and Peter Obi, you will find out that Atiku Abubakar stands very, very prominently among the three in terms of national appeal, in terms of liberalism, in terms of being a Democrat, and other things needed of a leader. You understand? So actually, in fact, just give it to Atiku. You can see even some of his economic policies are being gradually implemented by Buhari's administration. Just yesterday, honestly, they privatized NMPC. It is now no longer corporation, it's limited, liability company, NMPC Limited. You understand? And he has a lot of depth, and knowledge on economy. So we believe he is going to bring about a change for the better to turn around our economy from its current, doldrums, to economic prosperity, honestly. We are sick and tired. APC, came on board on based on propaganda that they will deliver this. But Nigerians now are actually worse off. You can see a lot of poverty happening. There is a developmental economist who said 3 questions should be asked about any country's development. 1, what is happening to poverty? 2, what is happening to unemployment? 3, what is happening to inequality? As I'm talking to you right now, these questions are yet to be answered by the APC-led administration. So we can't continue this way, actually. You cannot repeatedly keep doing the same thing and expect different results. And I can assure you, all things being equal, ceteris paribus, Atiku Abubakar is coming. This is a bet.
So, Dr. Saleh, the question to you now is this. Based on some comments on the platform already, some say we are tired of APC and PDP. Some say we need new things. Do you think you have the structure for us to make choice of APC in the next coming election? In line of structural question.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Shegun. You see, in democratic settings like ours today, in the third world countries, what matters more significantly is the structure, like the labor man right, than any other nation. Reason is so far-fetched. Number one, if you look at it critically, the APC is the government of the day. It has all the ministers intact. It has the governors, about relatively over half of the governors in the country intact, who are in APC. We have all what it takes to win the 2023 elections. But to crown the question up, if you look at it clearly, it shows that with the policy and the programs of the government, when we took over the mantle of leadership from the PDP, it's like a vehicle, a rubbish vehicle that there's no tire, there's no accident vehicle. So it took us all these years, we are repairing the vehicle. It's now that the vehicle is set for a good driver to take over. So Jagaban is the driver that we believe to come and take over the polished vehicle now that could be able to move Nigeria to the next level. So I believe that the candidate in the contention at this moment is 2 candidates. It's between the APC and the PDP, like my colleagues rightly said from the PDP. These are the 2 contenders. Peter Obi, in the first place, I don't even believe whether he believes in Nigeria, because from his antecedents, looking at from the issue of his son, being part of the ACN, marching on Nigerian flags, without him taking recourse to that reaction, it shows that believing in Nigeria is even an issue for him. So we don't want to go into any critique of maybe name calling or slandering anyone. But the most important aspect to say is that APC, with the current situation at hand, it have taken a good position to redeem themselves for the promises they took from Nigerians. We had challenges over time where we took over the matter of leadership under difficult situation. Some ministers, former minister of finance, even the civil governor said the illicit expenses that was taking place in the past administration before APC takes over is going to be a challenge for whoever government that's coming to take over from PDP then. It was so clear. It was glaring. It's a fact, not an insinuation. But the truth remains that we are taking over government that we are going through serious challenge of galvanizing, the economic status of Nigeria. We are trying to galvanize the issue of the political, the insecurity of the stuff. If we look at it, for example, in Maiduguri, in Borno State, out of 27 states, about virtually 15 local government was taken over by Boko Haram then, during the PDP era. Until with the emergence of APC, we were able to manage to put it in so that 100% now local government is controlled by the democratically elected local government chairman. But before now, it was under siege by the Boko Haramis during the PDP era. Look at up to 27, over 15 local government. That's one. Number 2, the UN headquarters was bombarded during the PDP time. We know the gross insecurity then we're talking about was bombarded at the UN headquarters. Police headquarters then was bombarded by the bomb explosions. You look at it, it's very clear. But now, have you ever had such a tragic happening? The answer is no, because of the improvement and because of the strategic measures taken by the APC under the Buhari administration. But now, we are telling you clearly that we are bringing an expert driver to taking over a proper repaired vehicle for us to take Nigeria to the promised land. However, I respect the personality of Atiku Abubakar. There's no doubt about it. It's a Democrat. It's a man to reckon with in Nigerian politics. But then the two remain that putting a scale vis-a-vis the Jagaban of Borgo and Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a man that we can say Tinubu have an edge over Atiku Abubakar. But they're all friends. They're all Democrats.
All right. Wow. This is very serious one. The fire is coming up, and that's very interesting. We are still looking at structure. If I get you right, Dr. Saleh of APC, what you are trying to say is APC has enough governorship, enough governors, they have enough House of Rep member, and you are trying to divine structure in terms of numbers of governors you have, numbers of senators you have, numbers of House of Rep you have. So you are trying to tell us that these are the structures that you lean on, that you depend on. Okay, please hold it there. Let me now take that back to the Labour Party man. Mr. Michael, the chairman of Labour Party, did you get the definition of the APC man? He said, based on the numbers of governors, senators, House of Rep member, that is the structure they have, that they are banking on. What do you have to say to that, Mr. Michael of Labour Party?
Thank you, Mr. Shegun. You see, the PDP and AP, more recently, this PDP speaker, you see, they should stop insulting the sensibility of Nigerians. They should stop insulting the sensibilities of Nigerians. Now, he said that for over 7 years, they've been trying to fix a tire, a punctured tire to the vehicle of Nigeria. I don't know how long. And that, if they have not fixed it by now, 8 years will come, they won't have fixed it. Another driver will take over and won't have fixed it. There is no need giving them another try. You see, 16 years PDP had its shot. We mustn't give them 16 years. They have had half of it, 8 years. Let Nigerians give Labour Party 4 years, half of that, and you'll see the change. If they are measuring structure by way of the number of governors they have produced, and the National Assembly members, give Labour Party half of that number, and you'll see the transformation Nigeria will become. Why did they say so successful? Give us half. They are doing, just give us half. I'm not asking for the same number.
You are muted, sir. Please unmute yourself. You are muted. Please unmute yourself. You are muted, sir.
Okay. I don't
know.
know.
You are not asking for the same number, that you are just asking.
We are not asking for the same number. PDP used 16 years. APC is going to use 8 years. Give Labour Party 4 years. After the first term, don't vote us. Give us 4 years. Give us half the number of this definition of structure that APC has given us. Give us half the number of governors they have. Give us half the number of the assembly members, half the number of the National Assembly members we have, and you see what will become of Nigeria. Hallelujah. We are not going to spend the whole time changing tires. We have tires ready. We have drivers waiting to drive the vehicle. How can they be insulting the sensibilities of Nigeria, telling us they have been changing the tire all this while? It's a shame to them.
All right, please let us not raise an anxiety, a statement that is derogative. Let us not insult. You know, if you read the letter we sent to you, we told you try to control your emotion. Don't insult anyone. Let's face the issue squarely, because you want to convince CILG members. You want to convince our guests on this platform on who to cast their vote for. coming 2023. That is the objective of this section. We want to participate. This is Charter Institute of Leadership and Governance. If you look at what we said earlier, we say get your PVC, your vote we can't. Now you want to convince us, you want to convince our members to vote your presidential candidate. So you don't need to insult anybody. You don't need to insult any party. Discuss issues, discuss personality, discuss what we need to be convinced about. Let's leave emotion apart. So thank you, the chairman of Labour Party. You have told us that your definition of structure is not a virtue of the number of governors, it's not a virtue of the number of senators. And the APC man has told us that structure begins from the numbers of these people you have. That is interesting to know. Of course, I've been receiving a lot of questions on the ground. When it's time to pick your question, please, we will do that. We need to ask these people questions on structure, on education, on economy, and on security before we allow you to make your input. Please, just listen first. Listen very well. Please, we don't need underground talk. If you want to talk, you will raise up your hand so that we will not exit you on this platform. Please, some people are making noise on the ground. It's not good for us. Thank you very much. Dr. Sally, the same APC man before I come back to the PDP man. What do you mean by, for the 7 years of your administrations, you are still pumping your tire, you are still working on your tire, and Tinubu is a competent man to do the job? What do you mean by that statement?
Thank you very much, Mr. Shegun. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, what I mean by the pumping of the tires or repairing, we inherited, listen to me very clearly, we inherited an accident vehicle. For example, I'll give you an instance. Nigeria is like a vehicle. So we inherited an accident vehicle that is already chartered by wrong driver, drives you to the kind of what we call, you have to already destabilize the vehicle. The vehicle can no longer move from here to here. So when we came in for as an APC administration, we have to look at the conditionalities that Nigeria is in. That's where I'm heading to. I'm not saying about pumping the tire per se, but I'm looking at the conditions that Nigeria was in prior to the APC taking over the administration. Who is the traitor, president of the traitor, World Traitor, what do you call it, organization, said it very clear that time that the amount, the illicit expenditure that was taking place in PDP administration then, whoever government to take over APC would not stand the test of running the administration. It was clear, it was everywhere. Sanusi Lami and Sanusi civilian governor equally then mentioned same. But we have seen it very clear that this is what we're going through. How much was the barrel of petrol? Production capacity then by the barrel of crude oil during PDP administration. It was over 2 million barrels per day. When APC came in, because of these circumstances, we are producing less than 1 million or 1.2 million. And what was the price internationally? The price then was over $150 per a barrel. But when APC came in, it dropped less than $50. So you cannot compare somebody that goes to the market with 200 naira, 200,000, and somebody that goes with 50,000. Their purchasing power it varies. So these are the enormous challenges that APC went through before we stabilize. Look at the Paris Club stuff. Buhari came in with a lot of bailouts to give support to Nigerian administration because of the governors of government cannot pay salary. So we were all 9 months, 1 year when we came in. All these are circumstances that warrant APC where we are. Nobody sees as if APC didn't achieve anything, but we are telling you with the challenges how we inherited a sick administration, sick country from the PDP. So we are about fixing it now. We are almost stable. So that's why we want to bring in a focused and prosperous Nigerian like Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who has the experience. From his record was clear from Lagos State, how he created some local government, he went to court, he challenged Obasanjo, and at the end, he triumphed, and his money was paid by the subsequent regime because of the challenges he went through. But we saw how he was able to stabilize Lagos State. We saw the personality she built. We're looking at the leadership by antecedent of somebody. We are not looking at leadership by mere noise making or verification syndrome of a thing. We're looking at factual figures and the real on ground. So
it's all right, Dr. Saleh. It's okay.
It's okay.
Now, Nigerians can understand you. Listener can understand you, that you will have done better if you've inherited a brand new vehicle, not the type of vehicle you inherited from PDP, according to you. And up to now, you are still using the vehicle. You are saying the man that is coming now is capable of putting the vehicle of Nigeria in better shape. Okay, thank you for that position. On structure, the message has been passed. We want to narrow our question in a structural manner. The first question is on structure, and you've made clarity on it. Nigerians are listening. Let's go straight to education. Let's go to education. Please listen. Dr. Sally, the APC man, I'll begin with you with this question before I will go back to others. Strike history since 1999 is on a cumulative for 5 years, with the budgetary allocations to the sector, a lot of budget going to education sector every year. Under this administration, which is between 3 to 7%, will you agree that your administration, APC, they are careless about education? What do we expect from your flag bearer if elected? Do you agree they are careless about education? If no or yes, what do we expect from your flag bearer on the issue of incessant strike of ASU in education?
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. You see, in the issue of education, if you look at it critically, this meeting of strike stuff in Nigeria is a recording decimal. It's not only in APC administration. These things have been on and on. That's more reason why most of the key players of Nigeria, that is the politicians and top political juggernauts in the country, have been sponsoring taking their children out of the country, out of the show of Nigeria, because of the issue of strike. It's not only a Nigerian issue. Where is the concept of Ali must go came from? Was it under this administration? If you remember, Ali must go then. It's coming because of the recorded of the poor educational management. So it's a long history of stuff. Nigeria must need an emergency on education generally, not only Buhari administration. When Mr. Bola Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu comes into power, by the grace of God, he is going to muster this issue, nurture it, and call for an emergency under education. We are going to fix it. It's going to be an issue that will no longer be a matter of no moment otherwise. So by the grace of God, I'm assuring you, Nigeria should give APC the better another chance so that we can able to lead. We cannot afford to go back to start a trial, like giving Labour Party to start trial of 4 years, new trial. We cannot afford to do that. Nigeria, we will never afford to do that mistake. For the case of PDP, we believe that yes, Atiku is a good man, he's a politician, he's a Democrat, we respect him, but then among all men, some are more equal than others. That's why I raise my case.
Oh, wonderful. You don't want to give Labour Party a trial. Yes, you don't want them to come and try with Nigeria. That will make me to ask the Labour Party before I go back to the PDP man on the issue of the same education. Will you agree that APC are careless about education? What will your flag bearer do better on the issue of education in Nigeria? Mr. Michael Ashade.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. They know that their errors will be exposed because our candidate, Mr. Peter Obi, has done it while as governor in Anambra State by turning around the fortunes of education in that state. And during his time, Anambra State was leading in the WAEC and other related exams result. You see, it's unfortunate that we have a president whose children are graduating from foreign universities. How can they be bothered about the educational sector in this country? Tell me which one of them, whose children or whose child is not having his or her children in foreign universities outside this country. It's so pathetic that while lecturers are on strike, the party at Central could be concerned so much about their convention, their primaries. No statement was even made about that. The Minister of Education was equally so bold to say he wants to further to become the president. What's the criteria for promoting himself from minister to becoming president? If he could not handle one portfolio given, he wants to handle the entire nation. And they are saying they don't want us to be given that trial. And it's because of their fears. I said earlier that the moment you put Labour Party on this symposium, they had sleepless nights.
Mr. Michael.
They had sleepless nights.
Mr. Michael, are you
Yes,
saying
please.
Are you saying if Labour Party is given opportunity to be the next president of Nigeria, your presidential aspirants, the governors, the senators during your administrations, their children will not go and study abroad? Are you saying you will fix the education system within a short period to the extent that they will all bring their children from abroad to Nigeria, or they will take their children off the country? What are you saying about that? Because why I ask you that question is this. You know why I ask you that question? Every government, before they come on board, they will always assure us that the idea of sending their children abroad, all these stuff, but when they still get here, the same thing continues. Even the rate at which they send children abroad, in fact, it's even, if you look at it currently now, it's as if all the youth want to go and study either in UK, either in whatever. So are you saying the game will change, or what are you saying, Mr. Michael?
The game will change, is what I'm telling you. And it will not just change by stopping Nigerians going abroad. We will have a situation wherein foreigners will be coming to Nigeria to study. We've had it before. UI was a place of model where you have foreigners, the whites coming in. We can't do it again. And I want to promise that under the leadership of Labour Party, we will have that happening. The outflow of Nigerians going to study abroad, we will have inflow of foreigners coming to study within Nigeria. And that will be another revenue generation for the nation, rather than having this outflow, depleting both human and financial resources of our nation. We'll have a change. And I said earlier, just give us 4 years, we will see the transformation that will become of Nigeria. It's part of our policy, it's part of our manifesto, and we are going to enforce it.
Mr. Ashade, thank you for that. Yes, let's go back to PDP. Mr. Sambu, what is the plan of your flag bearer on ending educational system in Nigeria, a problem in Nigeria?
In ending what? Sorry, come again, please.
Do you agree that APC are careless with educational system in Nigeria?
Yeah,
if yes, what do we expect from your flag bearer differently in the education sector?
Well, I expect there are so many things actually, and you know, it's one of his actually manifestos or campaign blueprint. You know, immediately after the unity of this country, the second thing is the economy. You know, third thing is education. The other, I think the number 4, you know, point of his agenda is securing this country, honestly, because we just can't continue this way. And Atiku, as an educationist, as somebody who is a proprietor of a private university, he knows the importance of education. He doesn't have any issue of certificate forgery, you know, where you have leaders, even their SSC certificates are being contested. Then, you know, honestly, we have a long way to go in this country. So immediately, if he comes on board, I know he will try as much as possible, you know, to bring an end, you know, to ASU strike. I cannot tell you immediately why, because it's something that he needs to sit down with his immediately sworn in Minister of Education, you know, to understudy the problems that have led ASU, you know, strike to linger this long. You understand? You know, look at the budgetary allocation to the education sector. What are their immediate and, you know, peculiar demands that need to be, first of all, attended? Then he will attend to them. and see how he can resolve that. You can see now, even Mr. President gave 2 weeks, ultimatum to Education Minister to resolve ASU strike. After 2 weeks, he should report back to him. I can tell you, if care has not been taken, still nothing can come out of it, because ASU has already.